Hey everyone, welcome to another video and thank you so much for tuning in. Well, I've had the Plaid for about a month now, so here's some things that I think that you should know and that I want to share with you if you're thinking about buying a Plaid or a Model S or recommending one to a friend or family. So let's get started. Okay, well, let's talk about the power first. If you are buying a Plaid because you want that kick in the pants, throw you back in the seat kind of power that just embarrasses other supercars, this car will not disappoint. So that is a great thing. It is as fast as any car really needs to be. That being said, I still hope they put out a Plaid Plus, or if you didn't see the last video, I was wearing a shirt that had basically the Plaid stuff and a Superman emblem, which is maybe they could come out with a Super Plaid or something. But I really hope that they make a car that goes into the mid-8s. That's my personal wish, but you know how that goes. But again, just the regular Plaid is as fast as anybody needs. Now, with that being said, if you're trying to get a fast car that brakes well, that's where you got to be a little careful. This thing is so fast that I don't really think it has the brakes to keep up with the acceleration. It will not stop you nearly as quick as it moves you up in the speedometer. And so here's the deal. To give you kind of a reference point, I think the closest car that you can buy maybe with a horsepower and speed right now, let's say in the Ferrari world, is a Ferrari Stradale, or actually SF90 Stradale. That car has the same size front and rear rotors as the Plaid. Now, they're literally maybe a quarter of an inch difference between the size of the rotors, between the Plaid and the Stradale. With that, this car, the Plaid, weighs about 1,300 pounds more, 1,300 pounds more. I mean, think about that. You're talking about, and again, according to most publications, 1,300 to 1,400 pounds more with the same size rotors. And the car is wider, as well as has a higher center of gravity, and probably has smaller rear tires than the Ferrari. So again, you know, that car, the Ferrari, was meant to go fast and stop and handle well. This was, I think, really meant to just go fast. So again, just know that it is a very fast car, but it does not want to stop as quickly. And I don't really think ceramic brakes, carbon ceramic brakes, are going to change that. Now, if you go to the track, yes, it's going to give you less brake fade and you can use the car for longer without the brakes overheating. But as far as a daily use and emergency stopping, especially if you're nailing the gas or you're trying to accelerate quickly to get around stuff or just for whatever reason, be prepared to maneuver, you know, in order to get out of a situation and not just rely strictly on the braking. Talking about the, you know, the size and the mass of the Plaid or even a Model S, one of the first things I thought, and I'm coming from a Model Y, so I really thought that this having a hatchback as well as it having a larger footprint than the other two, Model 3 as well as a Model Y. I mean, this car is, let me grab the stats for you. It is 197.7 inches long, and it is 78.2 inches wide. And the height is roughly about 55 to 56 inches, depending on where you have the suspension set. So it's a pretty big car. But interior wise, the interior volume is very close to a Model 3. Think about that. So again, I came from a Model Y. I kind of thought it would be similar. I knew the roof line, which takes away a lot from the interior volume and makes it feel much more, you know, closed in and race car feeling. But if you were trying to, you know, if you towed a lot of people often in the back seat and you go on long drives, they're probably not going to be as comfortable in the back seat of a Plaid or an S as they were in a Model Y. And again, here, I'll give you some numbers to kind of give you an idea compared to a Model 3. So here you go. The headroom in a Model 3 front and rear is 40.3 and 37.7. Again, front 40.3, 37.7. The headroom in the Plaid is 39.7, and in the rear it's 38. You were talking about very, very close dimensions. And it just goes on, whether it's leg room, shoulder room, hip room, they are all within an inch of each other. So it's, again, it's not a bad place to be, but the interior volume, in spite of it having such a big footprint, is smaller, you know, than what you would think, at least what I thought. You know, and I think that's, again, something if you're thinking about the fun, the speed, and the practicality of a Plaid or a Model S, know that interior volume is closer to a Model 3 than it is a Model Y, you know, and then getting in and out of it. If you have back problems or you don't like getting into low cars, you may want to go and test it out, you know, just sit and, you know, get in and out of it a few times, just sit in it for a little bit and do that, because it's a low car. I mean, I believe that this Plaid is probably in its lowest suspension setting as low as my M4. So, you know, again, something just to be aware of. You will be crawling in and out versus, you know, if you're used to an SUV or a truck, just kind of hopping in and out. The other interesting thing about this Plaid, and I think it applies to the Model S, just a long-range Model S as well. I don't know if they do this to the Model 3 anymore, but the roof, the glass panoramic roof and the windshield has the UV protection. I know that my Model Y did not. It was a Performance Model Y, 2020 Performance Model Y, and it was just regular glass, tinted glass up top and regular windshield. But this, when you pour water on it, it's like the old videos you used to see where it turns orange, you know. And again, the windshield, not quite as bad, but you can tell that there is some type of UV protectant in it. But the roof, much darker than the Model Y, and I think even the Model 3. Let me know in the comments if I'm wrong about the Model 3 not having the UV protection anymore. But the roof is at least 20% darker than what my Model Y was, and it does have the UV protection. So, you know, again, that was something that I didn't hear about or know about, but it's there, so pretty interesting. Now, another thing that I want to talk about that's seems still crazy to me, that in this class and price point for a car that the Plaid or the Model S doesn't have, is a power frunk. I just don't get it. I mean, you've got Lucid out there with a power frunk, Rivian, Ford F-150. I know a couple of those cars, I mean, the F-150 isn't out yet, but you do have Rivian, and it's out there, you know? And I can tell you it's fantastic. And just to have the option of having a power frunk would be great. I use it a lot, and it's super convenient for, you know, having food in there so you don't get smells in the cabin, or throwing, you know, bike gear and all that. And the only reason that I would like it so much is that there's a good chance, I think a lot of us could damage the hood if we're new to Tesla. And it's absolutely possible and easy to do. You cannot slam the frunk. You cannot close the frunk, or you shouldn't close the frunk with one hand. there are specific instructions from Tesla on how to close the frunk. And I'll put up the owner's manual here. And again, you can see that they want you to use two hands, already inconvenient. And if you don't do it right, you could potentially dent the hood. And that's so funny because if you're not a Tesla owner, the hood is very flimsy. I mean, it feels like scary flimsy sometimes. Like you could press on the front of the hood and you're actually worried about putting in a permanent dent, like someone sat on it. And if it's that sensitive and it's that, difficult or something that's that cautious to close, don't you think that they'd be better off just putting a power frunk so that we wouldn't, or no one would damage it and they wouldn't have to worry about it? But anyway, even at this price point, I think it should be at the very least an option, if not just a standard feature. And then that way it could eliminate a lot of future problems. But again, that's me. I'm not sure if you guys agree, but that would be a great feature. Another thing that I would love to see Tesla do, add more ambient lighting. Now, the ambient lighting in the Plaid, just a normal color, is much brighter than my old 2020 Model Y was. That was like a dim lighting. It was hard to see inside the cabin. But this one is very bright. But I would love to see it have different color options, as well as maybe even some way, if you wanted to have it go with the music while you're driving, or just the ability to, again, change it to a few different things, and so that you can customize it. A lot of other vehicles have it, and it'd just be great if Tesla incorporated that. Now, the next thing I'm going to say is going to be a little controversial because I realize it's fake, but I think it adds to the experience of driving, which is I wish they would pump in some crazy sounds for acceleration and braking. I know that a lot of purists are against it and, they don't want it. But if you have the option to shut it off, great. But at least allow the people who would like to hear some funny sounds or some interesting things while they're accelerating and playing around or driving, let them have that option, and I know, again, other cars have it. It seems to be catching on. And I had it in my M4 and it pumped in some engine sound. I actually really enjoyed it. I knew it was fake, but while I'm driving and having a good time, it just added to the experience, which is really what it's about, at least for me. And again, that's one of those things. Let me know in the comment. Is that something that you think I'm just crazy, or would you actually enjoy having some funny or cool sounds while you're accelerating? Now, the definite plus for the Plaid or the Model S or even a Model X is the air suspension. That has really made this car much more comfortable than my Model Y Performance. It doesn't really change the sound in here. I do have the active noise cancellation. I don't know if it's working properly. I haven't seen the update. It says it's calibrating, so I don't think it's turned on. But road noise is, again, better than my 2020 Model Y Performance, but it's not Mercedes-Benz or Bentley quiet, So, but that still, let's get back to the suspension. It is very nice to be able to adjust the height. When I pull into my driveway, it's set to where it automatically raises the suspension while I'm coming up to it. And, even in certain portions of where I drive, it automatically raises and lowers after that spot because it knows that that's a low area. It really does dampen and help the ride. I've been on the interstate. The expansion joints are not annoying. You can still hear them, but you don't really feel them. Even in a sports setting, you don't feel them nearly as much as in the Model Y. So that really is a fantastic feature. And then also, like I said, having the ability to customize it and adjust it, to where it's just right for you. You can feel it, but yet You're not annoyed by, you know, bumps in the road or dips or anything like that, or not have the car floaty. All of that is fantastic. So I wish they would put the adjustable air suspension on the Y and the 3 as an option at the very least. But again, it is a great feature, and it really does make the car feel much more premium. At the end of the day, I really have been enjoying the Plaid. I love the power of this car, and that's really why I bought it. You know, I've always been chasing 1,000 horsepower, and now I have it, and I can't wait to do more things. I actually haven't done a Plaid launch yet. I'm gonna do that probably on the next video. I'll test the 0 to 60 on the draggy and the quarter mile, and I hope you guys come back for that one. You know, I think I'm gonna be around what everybody else is, about 2.45, 0 to 60, maybe, if I get lucky, a little less, and a quarter mile, and a 9.4 or 5 right in there as well. But I can't wait to test that out, you know. But this has been, like I said, a really, really fun experience. This car is impressive in a lot of ways, and I'm also getting some annoying things to happen as well. So, and I'll share that with you on the next video. But overall, you know, those are the things that I hope you guys remember if you're thinking about getting one. I'm happy with it so far, and it's been fun learning about it. Now, I have, again, owned a Tesla in the past, so some of it is the same, and some of it is absolutely, you know, interesting how different the Model S is compared to the 3 and the Y, you know. So overall good, and I can't wait to learn more about it. Oh, and the last thing that I think that made this car much more fun was they put track mode on it. I think for sure the Performance Model 3 you can get track mode on it, but I don't think you can get it on the regular Model 3s, and I know you don't get it on the Model Y Performance. I wish you could. I wished it when I owned a Model Y, but this just got the update for the track mode, and I can tell you it's fun. I'll show you some of the UI if you haven't already seen it in the next video. I prefer to drive this car in track mode on daily driving, because not because I'm throwing it around the corners or driving like an idiot on the streets, but the steering is so much better. The input when you go around a turn or you're pulling in, you know, somewhere, it's much more responsive, and it really seems to help out in those situations. It's kind of feels the way that I wish that the Plaid would have just been, period. But I'll take it in the track mode. Again, for me, it's made the car that much more enjoyable, you know, and I'm gonna go ahead and test that out. I hope to do some autocross again in the future. Like I said, the next video, I'll put it through its paces, 0 to 60 quarter mile. But yeah, in the future, I'm gonna try to take it to some winding roads on a, you know, nice morning, and see how much better it feels, you know, under those kinds of circumstances versus, you know, just daily driving. But I love the suspension as well as the steering feel in track mode. So again, that's it. And I appreciate you guys watching the video. And as always, go to your car meets, have fun with your mods, and enjoy what you have. We'll see you on the next video. Thank you.